Villa have
Welcome along to the Sporty Show, ladies and gentlemen. Sara here, joined alongside Mr. Alex Ashmore. A little bit quiet in the studio today, Alex.
Who are we missing?
Can't remember.
He probably can't remember either.
Oh my goodness, yes. Klinton Cod will be joining us from the Santiago Bernabéu today, guys, because Real Madrid are taking on Borussia Dortmund in just an hour and a half's time. It's Champions League night, match day 3. And as it stands right now, Milan are beating Club Brugge 1-0. First half is about to end. Club Brugge also picking up a red card. Meanwhile, Monaco and Red Star Belgrade 1-1. A penalty to Belgrade after Monaco took an early lead. Both very exciting. We will keep you posted on those games. Alex and I are here to discuss all the upcoming games as well, along with Mr. Gary L. Smith. Gary with the shirt today, ready to party.
Hi.
How are we doing, Gary? How are we feeling? Champions League football? Mr. Arsenal yourself.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good night. Yes.
Don't worry, guys. We will get into roasting Gary from that weekend match in a little bit time. But yes, like I mentioned, Klinton will be joining us, giving us the full rundown of what's going on at the Bernabéu. This morning coming into work, I actually did see several Dortmund fans on my way in. They're here and they're ready.
Yeah, I'm walking around Madrid today, seeing quite a few of them. I even saw some cameraman go up to try and interview them, and they shooed them away. So I don't know whether they're feeling a little bit nervous or don't like cameras. But yeah, I think they're, I guess, familiar with their European nights. They've obviously been to the final quite a number of times and hoping to go that one bit further and win their second Champions League. It'll be a tough game for them, but like I think they know and their fans know and pundits alike know that Borussia Dortmund doing so-so in the Bundesliga does not mean that they're going to do so-so in the Champions League. It's a completely different kettle of fish when it comes to the Champions League, last season being the prime example.
Yep, exactly. They were the shock of last season, I think it's fair to say. So let's see what they can do on a pretty warm night in Madrid. An update to all our Nigerian fans watching is that the player that was red carded for Club Brugge was in fact Rafael Onyedika. He has been sent off in the 40th minute. So let's see what Club Brugge can do against a fully fit 11 of Milan. And like I mentioned, 1-1 in the other game. All right, let's not beat around the bush here, Gary. You missed yesterday's show.
I wonder why.
Maybe for a reason. Maybe there some internet issues I heard. Allegedly. Allegedly. After a 2-0 loss to Bournemouth, Gary. Give us a little bit of your thoughts on that game before we preview Arsenal and Shakhtar Donetsk tonight.
Well, I mean, yeah, I couldn't come onto the show and had some very timely internet issues,
How
right?
convenient, Gary.
Timely.
How convenient.
How convenient and timely issues, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, it happens. Bournemouth, I didn't see that loss coming at all. I honestly didn't see that loss coming at all. And it really stumped me as well. And I mean, that's the magic of the Premier League. I know it's cliche, but it's the reason why it's one of the most exciting or the most exciting league in the world, because of stuff like that. And just like that, Manchester City are going to have their moment, you know. So we go again next week. We go again.
Gary, just to interrupt you here, Monaco have gone ahead with a 2-1 lead here against Red Star Belgrade. I missed the goal because I was so intrigued with why you were missing it. Really quickly, just updating you guys. It looks like... Alex, did you catch that? I don't think you
did not. I was waiting for Gary's response. Nice ball through here the middle. Just checking for offside, but it's well onside.
I think it's Mbolo who's going to score this one.
It does look like it.
Oh.
A long check for offside. And
surely that's on.
Lovely finish. bottom corner and Bolo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he got...
He didn't get all of it.
Yeah, a little bit of luck on that one too, but he finished it.
They all count.
There you go. And as it stands, 1-0 to Milan. Halftime is commencing there. Gary, back to you here, though. Let's talk a little Arsenal action. Oh, there's our goals.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. All right, obviously lost to Bournemouth. There was the red card, William Saliba, all of that. But now you guys are welcoming Shakhtar Donetsk to the Emirates. And it's time to show everyone what you got, because obviously coming off a 2-0 loss, there's a lot to prove.
Well, but I mean, obviously, and I don't want to sound like I would have sounded before the Bournemouth game, but I mean, Arsenal, we are we stand as a firm favourites to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had a dramatic start to the competition with the Atalanta game. You know, Raya emerging as a hero. He made a pivotal penalty save that allowed us to escape with a draw. And then, you know, we overcome PSG rather convincingly, you know, to many people's surprise in front of the home fans. And so the hiccup in the Premier League puts a bit of a dent on the preparations to this one. But I think that it drives the squad to do better today as well, and to fix some of the stuff. I mean, some fans will give excuses as to why we lost against Bournemouth, you know, the absences of certain key players. But when Liverpool, somewhere in March, April, you know, Liverpool had quite a number of injuries, and at least they were making sure that they were winning certain games. And so, if we want to show our championship mettle, we really should be beating Bournemouth, even with such absences, you know. So, yeah, I mean, Shakhtar are not the Shakhtar of old, and I'm fully expecting Arsenal to win this one. Yeah.
One Bukayo Saka maybe making an appearance tonight, Alex?
To be honest, I think if Arsenal are sensible about this, they don't. I think when you look at the fixtures coming up, you know, Liverpool at the weekend, it doesn't get much tougher than that. Obviously, Man City being the team to look for, but Liverpool at the moment are the league leaders, so they're the team to aim for. So I think even if Saka is, you know, maybe give him 10, 15 minutes at the end just to sort of get that match fitness back. But I think if Arteta and the Arsenal, you know, decision makers are sensible about this, I don't think they play him, because in a game against Shakhtar Donetsk, with all due respect to Shakhtar Donetsk, like Gary said, they're not perhaps the force they once were. They're obviously, you know, through no fault of their own, having to play away from home, even in their home games. You know, life has been tough for them and for, you know, all of the teams in that region in the last 2 years now. So yeah, I think if they're sensible about it, they don't play Saka. I would hope to not see Saka, just for his sake as well, because otherwise he's going to be playing every game. And at some point, the body gives way, and we saw that with England.
Yeah, we did. Gary, do you agree as well?
Yeah, sure. Give him some rest ahead of the crucial game against Liverpool, because we've spoken about this now many times in the last couple of weeks. I mean, some of these players are playing, and it's catching up with them. You know, all across Europe, we are seeing the effects of the sheer number of games on many key players. And if this game is the one that Arsenal have to rest him for, I think that it's fine. They should be able to manage. Yes, they are 13th on the table in the league phase of the Champions League, but there are players on the bench who should do a job. And I'm looking at you, Ethan Iwaneri. He's become a much more regular fixture, you know, in the Arsenal first team this season, but he started only one game, you know, that 5-1 EFL Cup win against Bolton, I think it was. Yeah, Bolton it was. And this is the time. The guy is confident, you know, he takes on players. He doesn't seem fazed by the size of the opposition. And his style is actually suited to European football in the continent, isn't it? So give him the run, get him the confidence, and let him weave some of the magic that we've known him to have so far. So I'd put him in there. Against Bournemouth, it's another reason why I'll put Ethan Iwaneri. What does he bring to the table that we didn't see against Bournemouth? There's a certain creativity that was missing, wasn't there? Because if I check the stats, we created just 3 chances in the 90 minutes. You know, Saka and Odegaard were not there, and they are said to be absent again. Time has come for Iwaneri to start. He's 17, and you want to blood him in these kinds of games to build his confidence. It's as simple as that for me. I'm hoping that they do that.
Maybe a Leandro Trossard moment here tonight.
This is the big thing, and interested to see what you think, Gary.
Is he good to start? Is he good to start?
That's a $1 million question.
Can he do it when he's starting? It's night and day the difference between Trossard off the bench and Trossard starting, and we know the quality he possesses as a player. He's fantastic. We saw it at Brighton, we've seen it at Arsenal, but when he starts, I mean, against Bournemouth, I didn't see much from him, if anything. I was very disappointed as well with Raheem Sterling. I thought he was really short of the mark, and I think he has been since he joined Arsenal. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. And, you know, like Gary said, I would like to see some of the youngsters, because if you're not going to blood them in these sort of games, when are you going to start playing them? So this is the perfect opportunity. Like Gary said, European experience against perhaps a team that you feel more confident to beat. You should never underestimate an opposition. But I think when you look at these sort of games, it's the perfect opportunity to give some of the main players a rest and play some of those youngsters and get them the experience that they need.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep you guys posted on the Arsenal lineup. It is yet to be released, but once it does, we'll get Gary's full opinion on that. Actually, Alex, you had an interesting stat about Arsenal at home in the Champions League.
Yes, so they could now, if they keep a clean sheet tonight, keep 3 clean sheets in a row for the first time since November 2007. And they've also not lost a non-knockout game in the Champions League since 2015. So,
Gary, what do you do with that information? Because I feel like you're always the one being like, I don't want to hear it. Don't jinx us. Please stop doing this.
And you are right. Don't do it. I don't want to hear it. Don't jinx us.
Don't jinx us. They're going to end up like getting scored on. It's going to be a 3-1 win to Arsenal, and that whole stat's going to be gone again. All right, well, let's move along. Let's talk a little Real Madrid and Dortmund.
But Sarah, an interesting subplot to everything is Mikel Arteta in the lead up to this game. I'm sure you heard that apparently he had been asked to play for England by Fabio Capello in 2010. And he said the FA had checked FIFA's eligibility rules and decided that he was ineligible. He hadn't checked himself, but if he had been eligible, he would have happily played for England. Now think about that.
I think I would have taken him, you know.
At this time, for
no,
sure.
No, but England of 2010 was pretty stacked.
Yeah,
Alex,
yeah.
There was Lampard, there was Gerrard.
I think in the midfield we were covered.
Yeah, in the midfield. I mean, you didn't. Well, what did he bring to the table that Gerrard and Scholes and Lampard did not? Was there anything that Arteta brought?
It's always good to have those options.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Let me just read out the Real Madrid lineups, because we do have that. And Klinton will be joining us momentarily from the Bernabéu. But obviously, this is the match of the night, I think. Dortmund at Real Madrid. And it will be Courtois in between the sticks with Lucas Vazquez, Militao, Rudiger, and Ferland Mendy coming back into the lineup. Bellingham, Valverde, and Luka Modric as the captain, with Rodrigo, Mbappe, and Vinicius Jr. Alex, any surprises there?
No, I think, you know, obviously we were talking about this just before we went on air, that Aurélien Tchouaméni was training yesterday and withdrew from training early, so not too surprised having seen that, to see him on the bench today. That doesn't mean he won't come on, but I think, you know, Carlo Ancelotti just being precautious there, or, you know, precautionary to not risk one of his, you know, best players in that midfield. I think when we see Tchouaméni's defensive influence on that Real Madrid team is fantastic. So, yeah, I think no real surprises. I think to see Mbappe, Rodrigo and Vinicius line up. A big conversation has been talked about is Jude Bellingham's role in the team. Obviously, the goals haven't been there this season. He scored once this season, and that was for England. So whether we see him perhaps move into a slightly different role tonight, whether we see him move further forward, whether he's on the left, because obviously Mbappe is the main man when it comes to playing on the left, or whether Vinny will be on the left. I think I'm really interested to see where Jude Bellingham fits into this team tonight, because he's been good for Real Madrid, he's been solid, but perhaps not the attacking prowess that we saw last season. So I think Carlo Ancelotti is just trying to tweak a few things to try and get that right. And that is something that if they can get Jude Bellingham's goals back this season, it's another step up for Real Madrid.
Absolutely. I also think, though, with Mbappe scoring that goal over the weekend against Celta, that is really Mr. Champions League. You know, we saw what he did with Paris. Even when Paris continued to, you know, miss the mark and not win these trophies, Gary, Mbappe was always performing for PSG. And the goal I saw on the weekend reminded me of the Mbappe that we've been waiting for at Real Madrid.
Yeah. There's definitely that Mbappe in there somewhere. I mean, he's in there somewhere. It just needs to be unlocked. As you know, if you are playing a video game, you need some coins to unlock the player or a new level out of a character or something. When will it come? We don't know. But I think of more interest to me will be that subplot that Alex mentioned about Jude Bellingham. Does it hold the key? That's reverting him to his previous position? I saw certain Twitter accounts, some of the big Twitter accounts on football Twitter today, saying that Real Madrid had decided to take him back. I don't know how true it is, but then that would be nice to see, because Real Madrid need goals and they need to get to the similar levels of being dominant in the Champions League and even domestically, right? And so that would be interesting with Kylian Mbappe now going through the motion and rediscovering himself. Would he be able to do it in time and not too late before it gets too late for Real Madrid? I mean, Arsenal are 16th on Arsenal are 13th on the table. Sorry, Real Madrid are 17th on the table before the game starts, and no, that's not good enough. They've got to find it from somewhere. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster. And I don't know what's going to happen if Real Madrid were to get chucked out of the Champions League. Would it be a very unceremonious sacking of Carlo Ancelotti before December? I don't know. But it's a long season. No, I don't think so. But if they lose tonight, it's going to set alarm bells ringing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about this yesterday because obviously both Barcelona and Madrid won over the weekend. Barcelona maybe a little bit more convincingly, but then we knew they both had to play pretty big German teams in the Champions League before El Clasico. And the last thing Real Madrid want to do is lose this game if Barca win tomorrow and head into the Clasico, just with all the, you know, talk going on about the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, I think, you know, you look at perhaps if you were to give these Real Madrid players and Carlo Ancelotti a choice, beat Dortmund or beat Barcelona, I think they would take Barcelona, most of them.
Yes.
I think, but when you look at the importance, I think Celta Vigo also played a really important role in that run, because had they not, and I said this yesterday, had they not beaten Celta Vigo coming into tonight, the pressure would have been even greater, because the questions start to, you know, come up again. They start to surface the doubts of, you know, is Ancelotti perhaps not losing the dressing room, but is he perhaps coming to the end of his tenure at Real Madrid? Is there perhaps now the time to look at someone else? And obviously you've seen all the rumours about how Real Madrid are getting ready to look at, you know, Xabi Alonso, or, you know, whether Zinedine Zidane will come back.
Just between Zinedine Zidane and they're just going to keep rotating until the end of time.
So yeah, I think it was a key win against Celta Vigo and a really important game tonight. You look at Dortmund's record against Spanish teams, they've not done particularly well. I think away from home, they've played, if I'm correct, they've played 40 times away from home against Spanish opposition. They've only won 3 of those. Sorry, other way around. I'm getting myself confused. Real Madrid have only lost 3 against Dortmund, against German opposition at home. But Dortmund have only won 4 of the last 15 against La Liga opposition. So, you know, they're perhaps coming into these games. Obviously, we saw them against Atletico Madrid. They came to Madrid last season. They got outplayed in that first half, but got a goal back in the end to go to Dortmund with that 2-1 loss. But I think Nuri Sahin will know that his team will be up for this game. Real Madrid haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 5 games at the Bernabéu in the Champions League. So, you know, perhaps it's a good time to be playing Real Madrid in the Champions League. And when you look at how they've been performing this season, I think Dortmund will be confident of getting a result. Obviously, they'll want to right the wrongs of...
Dortmund's away form this season also has been suspect, even in the Bundesliga.
But then, I don't know if you heard at the top of the show, Gary, I said Dortmund in the Bundesliga and Dortmund in the Champions League. Yep. 2 very different things.
Yeah, 2 different beats, because they are top of the table in the Champions League, having scored 3 and 7. They have a hatful of goals, you know.
Top scorers in the competition so far.
In the Champions. Yeah.
10 goals
They're finding
for in
some
2
mojo somewhere in
matches.
the Champions League.
Hello. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just going
I
to say,
know.
actually,
So,
this table that you were referring to, Gary, was, Dortmund right now, as it stands, are in second place. Obviously, many matches to be played this evening. Monaco right now holding first place. It's very interesting with this new format because, within 2 hours, a team that's in 15th could and move to like 7th. It's hard to keep track. But like you said, Alex, 2 very different Dortmund teams, 7th in the Bundesliga. But as we keep saying, we wrote them off last season in the Champions League. They were top of the group of death. They beat Atleti. They beat PSG. They surprised all of us. And I think they're going now. I think you go into every game and it's a one-off, right? You're not playing every team twice. So I think that's actually quite different because you're saying, all right, we're coming to the Bernabéu and it's one time right now. Leave everything on the pitch. There's no second leg. There's no return match. I think that affects this a lot.
Yeah, I think, this new format has allowed for teams to perhaps go out there and, think, I've only played this team once, so I don't have to worry about playing them again. I'm just going to go all out. And Dortmund have got nothing to lose. If they lose tonight, 2 wins from 3, that's a decent start to the competition. Not many people expect them to get a result against Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are under pressure. So it's a lose-lose for Real Madrid. If they win, people will say, yes, you're expected to win. But if they get a win, it would be like, well, that was going to happen anyway. So, yeah, I think a good opportunity for Borussia Dortmund to come into this game fearless, use the young players. Obviously, they'll be missing Adeyemi. I think that would be a big miss. He's out until the end of November. Perhaps a player that could have done quite well against this Real Madrid defence. And a few others, Pascal Gross, a doubt. So, yeah, I think looking at this game, Dortmund will be motivated and really keen to get a result tonight against a Real Madrid team who are strong but can be beaten, as Lille shown.
Well, we just have received the Dortmund starting 11. So here we have Kobel in the net, Schlotterbeck, Ben Sabeni, Mecca, Guirassy, and Julian Brandt as their captain. Sabitzer, Malin, Süle, Ryerson, and Gitten. So a rotated Dortmund side, as Alex mentioned, some injuries. Some players missing for sure from this team, but I wouldn't think that you should write this team off against Real Madrid. I don't care if it's at the Bernabéu.
Yeah, no, I think, some exciting players in there. Jamie Bino-Gittens, if he scores tonight, it'll be the first Englishman to score against Real Madrid in the Champions League since 2001. So I'm sure he'll be motivated coming in, replacing perhaps Pascal Gross. I really like Dortmund in the Champions League.
Does he even know that stat, Alex?
Does Gittins know that stat? I don't know. He's probably not listening, but someone should tell him. Someone should tell him.
No, exactly. I've always wondered, Sarah, like these bits of, some are very momentous. Mm-hmm. Some of the stats are momentous and like they'll be all over the place. You can't avoid them because they'll dominate the news coverage. For example, you are going to be the first team from a certain country to beat Real Madrid. Obviously, you would know going into that game. But I'm going to be the first, you are going to be the 22nd Englishman to score again. Would you know?
For sure not. I'm pretty sure Lionel Messi with the hat-trick record he broke last week, someone was talking in post-match and they were saying, this is, the most international hat-tricks or da-da. And he was like, I really had no
I think with Messi, that's a bit different. He breaks a record every other week, so he's probably like...
But I am saying he's the most polarizing one.
Yeah.
And, he's coming out and being like, I'm honestly not even paying attention. But maybe right, he can't keep up. But no, Gary, I don't think most of them have a clue. I think when it's club stats, Real Madrid winning however many Champions League, if they make it to 20, obviously these things, the players will know this. But yeah, the one-off, the Englishman who's going to score against them since 2001, I don't think he's tying up his boots in the locker room thinking, yeah, tonight I'm going to do it.
Gary, if you can tell me the Englishman that scored, I'll be very impressed.
I like that you asked him and not me. I wouldn't have a chance.
Against Real Madrid.
Have a think about it.
What year? No, sorry, please give me the year. That
2001, Leeds United.
Sorry, who is it?
Alan Smith.
No, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Every other English guy. Just Alan Smith over here. Brilliant.
Come on, Alan Smith. That's so random.
Very random.
Yeah.
All right, well, these two matches have kicked back off here. We have Milan and Bruges, 1-0 to Milan, and Monaco 2-1 up against Belgrade, so we'll keep you guys posted on those. We're watching them live, so we might have a little reaction here. But let's talk about a different match. We'll come back to Real and Dortmund because, as I mentioned, Klinton will eventually be joining us from the Bernabéu. He's probably just running around screaming at Real Madrid fans. Shall we talk a little bit about Juventus and Stuttgart? Juventus been very impressive in the Champions League. I remember the first match they played, I was thinking, I'm going to see them struggle, and then they wiped the floor. I think it was a 3-0 victory. Stuttgart even though they lost to Madrid, they gave Madrid a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and I think had they taken their chances, they could have got a result from that game. Dennis Undav is a real danger up front, and he played really well in that game, and they have attacking threats. But I've been really impressed with Juventus this season. I think Thiago Motta's building something slightly different. His tactics that he's tried to use at his previous clubs, that he's just obviously at Bologna had quite the success getting them into the Champions League. But Juventus, they've been strong this season. They obviously beat Lazio 1-0 at the weekend, just putting that pressure on Napoli at the top of Serie A. So, yeah, I think an interesting game. We saw them play Leipzig last time out. That was quite the entertaining game, getting the 3-2 win. So I think Juventus will be the favourites, but Stuttgart will be coming into this game knowing that they've played against the likes of Real Madrid and they've tested the best teams in the world and they know that they can do well. So, yeah, I think an interesting game on their hands there in Italy.
We have the lineups here for Juventus. Perrin in the net, Savona, Kalulu, Janilo captaining this side, Cabal, Fagioli, Weston McKennie, Conceição, Douglas Luiz, Yildiz, and Vlahovic. Yildiz, what a player, Gary. What a young player to watch. Talk to me a little bit about Juventus here.
The one thing I'm impressed about Juventus is their defensive solidity, and cheers to you, Thiago Motta, for that. He's been building them from the back, and he's my kind of manager. Defenses, what did they say again? Attacks win games, defenses win championships. So, yeah, it's a good way to start. In the 8 games they've conceded only once. You saw that game they played at the weekend, which was live on SportyTV, by the way. Did you watch it? If
hey, Juventus
not,
and
why
Lazio.
did you not watch it on
guys, Alex
why
with the
didn't you watch
nervous
it on
look
SportyTV?
Alex with the nervous look away. My, oh my.
No, I can tell you
Why
on
didn't
Saturday,
you watch it on SportyTV?
I was busy
But
watching the Premier League.
No, it's all right. It's okay. Some of the matches, as an aside, I mean, we've been getting like serious props about, especially in the last 3 weeks.
Sorry, Gary, to interrupt you really quickly. We have a goal from Club Bruges. They are down a man, 10 men against an 11-side Milan, and they've gone and scored here, which I'm actually very shocked about. It's just brilliant passing in the box, and then he goes, yeah, I mean, really class. I don't trust Milan as far as I can throw them. Oh.
Lovely finish in the bottom corner there.
Yeah, just confirming here who scored. Sorry, guys.
So it's 1-1, yeah?
1-1.
It's 1-1, and it was Sabe who scored for Bruges. But yeah, Gary, they went down a man, and you think, okay, Milan, they're probably going to sit back now. Like, we're talking Italian football, like you're talking about Juve. Defend, maybe play the counter. They still have Pulisic on. They still have Leao on. And now they've been scored on. But there is a goal check, so we'll keep you posted. But talk more about Juve. They were playing Lazio on the weekend. They won that game, you were saying?
Well, Milan's result puts Juve's situation in perfect contrast and perfect, gives her the perfect context, because the Juve we've seen are not going to concede like this, like Milan have this season so far. And I think that's been an interesting feature of Thiago Motta's team. How long it's going to serve them getting into the season is out there for us to see, because Stuttgart have not been bad as well. And you've been talking about Idris. Has it been a revelation or what? Has it been a revelation or what?
A revelation. For the goal? What?
Hi, guys. Some technical issues? No. Can you hear?
I think we all just got a little confused there. Everyone just stopped moving. moving. There's no tech problem, guys. We all just glitched. We all glitched. It's 1-1 Milan and Bruges. Here we go. Exciting second half.
Okay, I can hear Klinton in my ears. That's why. I can hear Klinton in my ears.
Oh, he's haunting you from the Bernabéu. That's trouble.
Monaco have just gone absolute golazo.
Oh, my goodness. Goals galore here. And you guys thought Milan and Bruges and Red Star Belgrade and Monaco would be sleepers? Absolutely not. Wow, this is a golazo.
Some strike. Catch it on the half volley.
Early
It's
kickoff
a bolo
bonanza,
again.
everybody.
Top corner.
Sorry, Gary, go ahead.
Early kickoff bonanza. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Early kickoff bonanza, I said.
Early kickoff? Yeah, you're right. That's actually true. Usually the early matches are the chaotic ones. Then we expect, the next 6 matches over at 9 o'clock to be crazy, and then not so much. 4 goals in what are we, 50 minutes in here?
Yeah, 55 minutes gone.
55.
So just to wrap up, Sarah.
Yeah.
Just to wrap up, Juventus are unbeaten this season. Won 4 of the last 6, including 2 Champions League wins as well. So yeah, for those who want to get a sense of how Juve have been, that's how exactly they've been. I'm tipping them to win this one, but they won't have it easy. I'm tipping us to have goals here as well. So yeah, should be a good game.
Can I get a score prediction, Gary?
Whoops, 3-2.
Ooh, 3-2.
That would be nice.
I mean, sure. Just to confirm, sorry, it was Wilfred Singo, the Ivorian defender, that scored that. No wonder he was all the way at the back of the pitch and shot it from there. Brilliant stuff. Monaco, a team that, again, I think is surprising everyone in the Champions League so far. They are looking like a force. Brilliant football from them. All right, we'll keep you guys posted. Let's move along. Shall we talk a little Aston Villa, Alex?
Yes, go on then. I'm excited for this game. I think Bologna perhaps really have had it unlucky. Obviously, Thiago Motta getting them into the Champions League, then going to Juventus. They've lost. Xerxes obviously gone to United, and they've come into this campaign with excitement. Obviously, first time in the Champions League, and we've got another goal.
Oh, we've got another goal.
Oh, I mean, 4-1 to Monaco.
Wow. We can't even keep up. Yeah, they said this is it now. But there does look like there was a collision for the keeper of Belgrade here. We're just rewatching it.
Cross in. It's in Bolo.
Oh, unfortunately, the keeper and the defender himself ran into one another. It's just
cannoned off the goalkeeper and the defender and come back off. And Bolo, I think, is that?
Yeah. It looks like it's another one from Bolo, and he says, listen, I don't care how it went in. It went in. It is 4-1 for Monaco as it stands. All right. Well, listen, they're now top of the table for UCL.
That is lucky. It's header off the goalkeeper, back onto the striker and into the back of the net. 4-1. Wow. Monaco on a rampage. Yes, as I was saying, I think Aston Villa, well, they've been, I think, B-side.
I can hear Klinton in my ears the whole time. So
it's just criminal.
He's haunting you, Gary. Is he screaming at Real Madrid fans? Probably. As I was saying, I think Aston Villa beating Bayern, that perhaps one of the shocks of the campaign so far. I think John Duran, fantastic goal. Again, make a point of saying that Aston Villa have come into this competition. They are, obviously, they've had their history. They've won the competition before, but they're relatively new with this squad. They're back into the top, echelons of European football, and to beat a team like Bayern with the quality that they have, fantastic. So I think they'll come into this game with every confidence that they can get the result and, go from strength to strength. And Emery will obviously know that this is something that he'll have to deal with. The Champions League and the Premier League, playing lots of football, it's that additional burden on the squad. But I have every confidence that Aston Villa will get the result tonight against Bologna, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. Speaking
of John Duran, he's starting for Aston
He's finally
Villa,
got the nod.
Leading the line. And Klinton, if he were here, would say, I don't want him to start. I want him to come on as a sub. Not today. Thibaut Martinez in the back. Konza, Carlos Pau Torres, Matson, Onana, Yuri Tielemans, Leon Bailey, Rogers, John McGinn, and John Duran. For Bologna, we see Skoporski, And we get Greek. Liko Giannis, Lukomi, Bukema, Posh, Fabian, Freuler, Ubanski, Ndoyo, Dalinga, and Orsolini. Listen, Bologna, though, I think is a team that shouldn't be overlooked as well. I think sometimes with the Serie A teams, you know, maybe there's just less attention being paid. I don't know what it is, but I think even though they're mid-table in the Serie A, it's not easy. Like, this whole fact that, like I mentioned, you're playing one team once, it's a different can of worms. So every game is a one-off. But I do agree. I think Villa will win. Maybe 3-1. I'll give Bologna maybe a goal, but it's Villa Park. I think Villa really want to come out. And John Duran getting the start, I mean, this is a statement here. This is very interesting. Like, do you think... Okay. This is a good question. We'll ask Gary as well. Do you think that if John Duran keeps performing to the level that he is and scoring the goals that he is scoring in the next, 5 matches across all competitions, then maybe he will start getting into the rotation and starting over Ollie Watkins?
I mean, it's a good headache to have for Henry. I'm glad I'm not the one making the decision because I'm not sure I could. Obviously, we've seen and we know Ollie Watkins' quality on the ball as a striker. He's fantastic. He's been good this season. He had a slow start, but he's come into things and he's getting the goals now. But obviously, John Duran off the bench has been fantastic. So I think to have him starting and to have that headache, to have that option to, if one guy's not firing, I'm going to start this other guy who's playing brilliantly, and then to have Ollie Watkins playing, I mean, it's a tough one. I think he deserves the start, but then could it be another Leandro Trossard? Could he be not as effective as a starter?
Let's hope not. The goal was called back for Monaco here, just looking at this collision. So it is 3-1 as it stands. And Milan have made some substitutions here. I see Samuel Chukwueze has come in. I didn't see the other player, but we're keeping an eye on that. But yeah, John Duran, I hope this isn't a Leandro Trossard, situation, because I want to see him keep doing what he's doing, because he's so fun and he has... the nerve to do what he's doing, and not a lot of players are like that. So I hope it doesn't, dim his light by starting. Yeah,
no, I mean, obviously Unai Emery would have had the confidence to put him in there, and I think he's been asking for that question for a while. So, yeah, I think the right moment, put him in. Obviously, if he doesn't work, put Ollie Watkins back in. So
Tejan Reinders is scoring for AC Milan. It is 2-1 for the Rossoneri. Wow, here we go. Let's just rewatch that goal because I know we both missed it there.
It's goals galore.
I mean, I'm loving it.
Off as well.
Yeah. I mean, Monaco just had another chance there.
It's a ball in the box.
Easy.
Keeper should have done better there. I think.
Yeah, he's absolutely left alone. Right in the middle of the box there. I mean, if you're missing that.
Defender in front of you. It does look harder from that angle, but yeah.
No, brilliant from Reinders. Did what he needed to do. Red carded, by the way, on the weekend against Udinese. So, that'll give him some confidence back after that win, though. But
some breathing room for Fonseca, because I think, not too long ago, people were saying, is it time for him to go?
I think it was
harsh and, to get that win, going down to 10 men. I think they're showing some grit this season. Aston Villa, obviously, they had that disappointing result against Liverpool, but I think most teams have had disappointing results against Liverpool this season. So, yeah, some breathing room for Fonseca there. It's not over. Still half an hour to go, so a lot can happen. Club Brugge could come back, but I think AC Milan in Europe at the San Siro, I think the atmosphere might just get them over the line now.
Let's see. We'll keep you guys posted. Shall we move along to PSG? Ousmane Dembele back in the lineup for the Parisian side after some silly antics once again, some poor behavior it seems, and Luis Enrique said, not on my team, you've got the bench. But back in action here is the starting lineup for PSG: Donnarumma, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho, Mendes, Zaire-Emery, Neves, Ruiz, Dembele, Lee, and Barcola. Honestly, you keep looking at this team and you're thinking they've got to do something more than what they're capable of. For PSV, first in the Eredivisie, lest we forget, we have Benitez, Dams, Boscali, Flamingo, Junior, Tillman, Savary, Lang, De Jong, and Bakayoko. They were not impressive so far. They have not been rather impressive so far in the Champions League. But you look at this team, you look at the fact that they're first in the Eredivisie, you look at the fact that it's PSG. Is there a chance here for PSV against PSG.
Yeah, I mean, you look at PSG's start to the season in the Champions League, a quite convincing loss against Arsenal, and then it was a win against Girona, but it was a scrappy win to get that goal at the end. And, you know, PSV will look at this result. Yes, it is at the Parc des Princes, so away from home is always going to be more difficult, but they're going to look at this game and think this is our chance to capitalise on PSG's poor form and come into this and get a result, because, you know, at the end of the day, yes, we expect PSG to be up there and battling for that top 8, but if they don't get the results, we could see them even dropping out of these top 24. So I think PSV will be very confident coming into this game, and they'll look to get a result. But I think it's hard to see. You said it. You know, this PSG side must perform at some point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's hard to say. I think I'm gonna go for a 2-1 PSG win.
All right, well, we'll come back to this match, but right now, joining us live from the Santiago Bernabéu, it is Klinton Cod.
Madrid! What's up, SportyTV? What's going on in the studio? Talk to me before I tell you what is happening right here.
Klinton, how are the Borussia Dortmund fans? Alex and I, on our way to work, both saw the yellow jerseys. Are they showing up tonight?
Listen to me, this is the first time I've been to the Bernabéu because I've been wanting to pronounce the name of the job, okay? So I'm trying so hard to make sure the pronunciation is 100%. Now, the Borussia Dortmund fans, they are all here, and the kind of noise they are producing, as I speak to you, you would think they came here with guns, bombs. It's like, we must win this game. When we came in, I saw them with the horses. They literally made sure police officers were guiding them while they were making the loudest noise. Like, these are like, say, 200 people, but they sound like 5,000 to 800,000 people. I promise you. It's crazy.
Does that change what you think will happen tonight?
Well, I mean, the truth is, this is one of the games I'm looking forward to. The reason is only because I've only said it on the show. Now, Real Madrid, they've not given me the performance that I believe they should be giving their fans. Now, Dortmund would be a serious test live here. So hopefully we will see the A game for Real Madrid. Now, Borussia, on the other hand, you know, they have some kind of history. Real Madrid beat them. I can't remember. I think it was the Champions League. Was it the final? I believe.
It was the final 2-0.
It was the final. Well, exactly. So it's probably going to be a revenge in Real Madrid. Bernabéu. So let's see what's going to happen. If Real Madrid loses the game, am I going to be happy? Slightly. Am I going to be sad? Maybe. I'm just going to see what happens at the game.
He's a roller coaster of emotions, that man.
It's hard to keep up. Go for it. Ask away, Alex.
Klinton, obviously, we talked about this earlier on in the show. Tchouaméni forced out of the starting 11 because of, well, not an injury scare, but I think just precautionary from Ancelotti. Do you think, looking at Bellingham, the goals haven't been there this season, do you think that, you know, this is the night that he can start scoring? And because he's only scored one this season, that was for England. Do you think this is the night he can find his goal-scoring form, of course, against his old club?
Well, that's it for Klinton Cod for now. We've lost
I think he said yes. I think Jude Bellingham's going to score a hat-trick, so there you go.
There you go. That is the answer. Well, let's see. Anything's possible. Club Brugge almost just scored again on AC Milan. AC Milan really getting, you know, saved here. The keeper, unlucky. Went off the post at one point. We have to remember they're playing with 10 men. They're putting up quite the performance. Also, we didn't say it at the top of the show, but Christian Pulisic scored an Olympico.
Off the corner. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe slightly lucky, but
hey,
still had to put the corner in the right spot.
There you go. Exciting stuff. Some of our YouTube comments here. Street Fighter has given us all their predictions. Milan 2-1, so you better hope it stays like this. You've gone Juve 4-0 to beat Stuttgart. Very confident in the old lady. PSG 3-1. Ibrahim says 1-1 in this one. And Real Madrid 3-1. Alex, I didn't ask you. What is your prediction for tonight's match? Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. And then you can go to your goal scorers.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Real Madrid.
Okay.
Goals from Mbappe, Bellingham, because I'm willing it.
Yep.
I'm trying to will it into existence.
Put it into the universe.
And I'm going to go Lucas Vázquez.
Lucas Vázquez. And why is that?
I just have a feeling. It's always the case with Real Madrid. They have goal scorers that you don't expect. And, throughout last season, it's been Dani Carvajal, it's been Rudiger, it's been Lucas Vázquez. So, yeah, I see a goal there. Obviously, Vázquez filling in for the injured Dani Carvajal, so he'll have a point to prove to want to try and confirm his spot or solidify his spot as the starting right-back, because this has been the conversation. Are Real Madrid going to bring in someone in the winter? Are they going to look at bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool? There's been big contract talks there as to whether he is going to renew. Are they going to bring someone up from Castilla? So I think Vázquez will have a point to prove when it comes to things tonight. So 3-1, and then a goal from Guirassy, who's on fine form for Borussia Dortmund.
I love that shout. I think maybe a little Rodrigo action could be Mr. Champions League himself last season, and there's no question about that. He's one to watch. We've put our couple polls on our SportyTV Twitter, so go and vote. But right now, we asked you guys who's going to win between Dortmund and Real Madrid. And right now, as it stands, 71% of you guys think it will be Real Madrid. We also asked who's going to score the first goal against Dortmund for Real Madrid. Mbappe, Vinny, Bellingham, or other. And 56.5% of you say Mbappe. I don't think it's a little bit. There's no shock there. Sorry. Yeah.
I think after the Celta Vigo goal, it feels like
That's what I
found
think.
his rhythm.
We have another goal. Monaco have now scored that fourth goal that was taken back, and it looks like this one is going to stand. Minamino, 2 goals on the night so far. And Alex, 20 minutes left. Maybe a hat-trick.
Yeah, I mean, a brilliant performance from him and Monaco. Monaco obviously had the goal chalked off, but not a problem for them. Poor defending there, unlucky to slip over, but
I think Belgrade have really just fallen apart here. It looks like their confidence is
complete capitulation.
Yeah.
So many men unmarked there. Unlucky defending. And, a good finish. Could have been dangerously close to offside there, but no. Monaco impressing. Obviously getting the win over Barcelona in match week 1. I don't think they're going to, surprise teams in the latter stage of the tournament, but they're definitely stronger than perhaps they have been in previous years.
Crazy to think that they're at the top of the table and they're winning with confidence. Long way to go, but still. Yes. Street Fighter says Real Madrid will win. Mbappe with 2 and Rodrigo. Ibrahim says 2-1 to Dortmund. And 80 Samuel says 1-1. Very interesting. So we got score predictions across the board here. I just saw Zlatan Ibrahimovic is at the San Siro watching this one. Gotta love that. What's your favorite Zlatan Ibrahimovic era? Because there's many to pick from.
To be honest, it's an unusual one, but him at Manchester United,
oh dear,
he was unbelievable. He was the shining light of that Manchester United team. He scored goals. He scored some absolute crackers over the years, but he did really well at United, and perhaps without him, they would have done a lot. I know without him, they would have done a lot worse, but I think a standout goal for me was, as much as it hurts me to say, against England, that bicycle kick from, 35 yards out, lobbing Joe Hart. It's just unheard of to be able to do that.
Oh, my God. And Milan have scored again. Tejan Reinders now makes it 2 on the night. It looks like they're trying to just hammer this one home. But I really feel for Bruges because they have been pressing Milan. Wow, Tejan Reinders, 2 for him as well. Let's take a look.
Almost
at
another cracking goal from Monaco there. Cut in from the right-hand side, a shot curled to the top corner. It's just off the post.
Sorry, have Monaco just scored another goal?
No. It was very close. It was a brilliant shot.
I'm sorry, can you look at Tejan Reinders' goal? It's the exact same goal he scored from the other side. A cross in, left top of the box, completely unmarked, and just taps it in. Oh, that's funny. That's very rare to see, I feel like, in football. It was the exact same mirrored goal. All right, 3-1 to Milan, 20 minutes to go. 4-1 to Monaco, 20 minutes to go as well. One of my favorite Ibrahimovic moments was when he went to LA, and I know you think, well, why? Because that's, unfortunate.
Is this the interview moment you're talking about?
That's one of them, but it was when LeBron sent him his LA Lakers jersey, and Ibrahimovic signed it and sent it back. And you know what? I feel like that's something Klinton would do.
That is brilliant. I think he did something as well. Thierry Henry was interviewing at the Manchester United training ground, and they had all the greats. Obviously, over the years, Manchester United have had some of the best players.
Sure.
And Thierry Henry was like, "Oh, they haven't put you up there," and he was like, "Well, they still don't know how God is looking."
He's on honestly, so it's just there's something about you have to love it because it's so delusional, but it's hilarious. It is hilarious. All right, we have a couple other games here that we haven't spoken about yet. Girona's taking on Slovan Bratislava. Girona, obviously, were picked apart over the summer transfer window, and they really are not proving to be the team that they were last season. You know, mid-March, maybe some of us were saying they're going to win La Liga. They didn't, of course. They did great to get the Champions League spot, but they are not looking like the Girona we knew of last season. They're 12th in La Liga. And if I'm correct, they haven't won either of their first two matches in the...
No, lost to PSG and Feyenoord.
Yeah. Oh, the PSG match.
That was
Gazaniga. We were watching it together. That was horrendous. That was horrendous. But that's also when I knew, PSG, if you can't beat this team confidently, I have questions about you as well. Yeah.
No, I think it's been unfortunate. Like you said, they were picked apart in the summer. They lost Savinho, obviously the key player going to City there. I think it's been tough, and it was always going to be tough. When you perform so well, we saw it with Leicester City when they won the Premier League. The next season is always going to be tough to live up to those expectations. So for Girona, I think...
Girona.
I'm getting Savinho and Girona mixed
Yeah.
up. For Girona, I think also for Slovan Bratislava, obviously coming off a loss to Man City, I think both teams, in a way, it's pressure on Girona. They're at home. They are the team that have the players, the notable players. You talk about Donny van der Beek, Arnaut Danjuma, Christian Stuani, obviously without a few, Segankovic and Daley Blind all out, and a few injuries that have plagued their season, really. So I think when you look at this Girona side coming into tonight, I think they have to get a win. Otherwise, it could spell early days, but spell the end of their Champions League campaign if they don't pick up results soon.
It's looking like it. It is looking like that. Really quickly, Morata and Fofana coming out for Gamarda and Musa, I see. Looking like they're happy with this result, and they're just kind of going to take it easy a little bit now. But yes, Girona, they need to get a win, though, I think, tonight. It's at the Montilivi. They came off a loss over the weekend to Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad, as we know, not performing well in La Liga, so that doesn't say a whole lot. But I think they need to get some confidence, and this is a team that they could, with respect to Bratislava, do that.
Yeah, I think they will be... Confident is perhaps the wrong word, but I think they will be motivated to turn things around, and they will know that it's tonight. If they don't get a result, it is starting to look worrying. So I'm confident they'll pick up a result, but this is football. You never know what's going to happen on the night. So it could be an early goal from Slovan Bratislava and Girona start to get nervous. So it could go either way, but I'm picking Girona for a win ever so slightly. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
There you go. Well, they're 31st out of 36 teams, and Bratislava are 35th. You made an interesting point there. You said if they don't win tonight, then it's not going to be looking good. And we kind of are getting to that point in the Champions League where match day 3, match day 4, if you are not turning on the engine right now, it's going to be way too difficult to make a comeback.
Although this new format does allow for perhaps a slow start, because 24th and you're still in with the shout of going through to further into the competition. So I think for Girona, they obviously got that in their mind, but you'll always rather be there than have the ground to make up and depend on other teams' results. So yeah, I think pressure on them tonight.
Gary, I hear you're back with us.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yo, all manner of.
Welcome back.
That was so hoot. That was so hoot.
You sounded like a Toronto man there.
Anyway.
Yo.
Yeah. So what do you call it? I was hearing you guys about Girona, and I'm glad I've got out this time because I was looking at their first 2 games, 2 very cruel defeats. You know. Remember they lost 90th minute.
PSG was criminal.
PSG. Yeah, and then at Montilivi against Feyenoord where they lost by 3-2. And so you kind of feel like they've not been bad so far, but you've got to win to prove that you are not bad. As for the Slovaks, their start has been equally challenging. They suffered a heavy 5-1 defeat at the hands of Celtic before Celtic were battered themselves. Then they lost 4-0 against Man City. So this is, no pressure, no exaggeration here. This is literally life and death for both sides. No exaggeration, no, no
Do,
pressure.
do you agree with
Um,
what Alex was saying, Gary, about how, we're kind of hitting that point now where the team's you need to
yes, I
start
do.
winning? Yeah, talk to me a little bit about
Yeah,
that
you got
regarding
to
the new
start.
format.
Yeah. I mean, you can be 24th, you might have a shout, but after match day 3, if you don't have a win in your kitty or your basket, then it's starting to look worrying. Then you might as well start kissing it goodbye. It will take, a very interesting series of events and coincidences across the spectrum, across the table for you to get back into it as well. But for Slovan, they know that coming into this game, they have an equal chance as Girona as well because of all the circumstances. How are they built? I think that pound for pound, player for player, Girona are slightly better than than the Slovan side, than the Slovak side. Except for their Armenian, who they aptly named, the fantastically named Tigran Basagian. He's had 8 goals and provided 2 assists in 14 matches. He's played in all competitions so far. And I'm thinking that, if anybody is able to claw them out, it's the Armenian as well. So, yeah. And then they've got Vladimir Weiss. They've got Vladimir Weiss as well, who will be returning. And, he spent a season at Espanyol, if you remember, and so on and so forth. So, one of the rather understated, underrated games, but it will make for an interesting football match because simply of what is at stake for both sides.
Absolutely. Gary, while you were gone, we spoke about Aston Villa and John Duran getting
I
the
could hear
start.
everything. So what was happening? I could hear everything you were saying. I just
I'm
couldn't
so
talk.
sorry. Well,
So I heard everything.
We talked about
Yeah.
Villa, obviously coming off of their massive win against Bayern Munich. And John Duran is starting this game. And if you remember the match after Bayern Munich, Klinton went on quite the rant saying, John Duran is the second best striker in the Premier League after Erling Haaland.
Right
but
now.
So you remember this conversation. But yes, he is getting the start.
Yeah.
He's getting the chance given by Unai Emery to start this game. What do you think about that? And do you think if he continues, I asked Alex this already, but if he continues in this form, scoring these goals at that level, that he will become part of that rotation in the starting 11?
You would be very unfair as a manager if you don't start chucking him into starts at the moment. It was like the whole Leandro Trossard arguments like a month ago. Before, all the fans said, there were very interesting conspiracy theories that Arteta doesn't like the guy. I'm like, he just realized this guy is his lucky charm of the bench. So he's just keeping it that way. But with all the fans' pressure, he started chucking him in to start matches. And we've seen, and now we are asking, is he good enough to start or not? Because whatever the pressure is with the start, he's not able to replicate that form just like he does when he comes off the bench. Enter John Duran. Look, he's even doing it for the national team, man. He's even doing it for the national team, which suggests that this guy's, his cajones. Yo, did I get it right? Tell me I got it right.
You got
Tell
it
me I
right,
got it
Gary.
right. Come on, vamos. Yeah. So it shows that he's a real deal. And what a fantastic, he just is a big game player, somebody who just does not fear any kind of opposition. And, well, if he's relishing it, well, give it to him. And I'm glad they are giving him this start. Hopefully he takes it. Thing about players like him is that if he takes it and he runs with it, then Aston Villa know that they have to start lining up a replacement soon because the Hawks will start circling very, very soon.
I already saw it last week. Barcelona are interested in John Duran.
Well, there we go.
It's already begun, Gary. The sick cycle we live in. Do you think John Duran's going to score a goal tonight?
Well, yeah, and if he does, well, there's going to be chaos.
It's just going to be a party at Villa Park. What were you going to say?
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. That, and you just teed me off, that if he's going to come in and going to score tonight, well, they are going to have a hard time of keeping the hype machine down. And I hope he has the temperament to keep going. Obviously, we've seen it with so many players. I hope if he's given the opportunity, if he takes the opportunity, and if he actually scores in games like this and he becomes consistent, he actually can keep it going. That would be that'll be some revelation of the season stuff that none of us would have seen coming, and a refreshing one too, I guess.
I think the thing that really impresses me about Aston Villa is the fact that we saw with Newcastle, they had that brilliant season they got in the Champions League. They had that fantastic result against PSG, but just couldn't keep it going. Their squad wasn't big enough. They didn't have the right number of players. And Aston Villa, they brought in strength. They knew that they needed backup, obviously signing Amadou Onana from Everton, to name one. I think you look at the performances this season, it's been impressive in the league. They're following up on a fantastic season, finishing in the top four. They're doing well in the league and in the Champions League. It would have been easy for them to perhaps forget about the Premier League and focus on the Champions League, but they're pushing everywhere. And you see them each week. You're a Chelsea, you're a Liverpool or a Tottenham, you're facing Aston Villa. They're almost, coming into that conversation of a big six club when you talk about the big six, obviously. But I've been really impressed with them this season, and the rotation they have, the squad depth. Unai Emery's been really sensible, and perhaps, Gary will have more to say about this, but a job that he could have done at Arsenal, but perhaps, right job, wrong time, and that sort of thing. So really good for Unai Emery to see him doing well in the Premier League and Aston Villa going from strength to strength.
Let me tell you why Aston Villa are doing well in the Champions League and why it wasn't Newcastle. There are two reasons. It's Unai Emery because he is a tournament manager. He knows how to win, and this is being shown exactly right now. And it's Dibu Martinez. I still think Emiliano Martinez is one of the most underrated keepers because he's brilliant. He's also, like Gary said, John Durant, he is a big game player. He shows up when he's needed. He has a ton of leadership. He knows how to piss another team off. There's so many qualities about him that just, I think, for a keeper, like having a strong keeper, I think is very, you forget about it sometimes. It's very underrated. You don't
we talked about with Courtois and Real Madrid.
Exactly. Literally yesterday, and here we are. Gary, Dibu Martinez, come on.
As you were listing his qualities, I mentally started thinking,
Yep. Yeah, I know what you thought.
Pantheon, which pantheon of keepers can we put him in?
Okay.
And I'm talking I like the audience to, I like our viewers to chip in with this. I'm talking the keepers who are sort of larger than life in a team. Like you name the most important 3 players in a team, and the goalkeeper is one of them. You know those kind of players. So I don't know, Iker Casillas in the era of the Galacticos, when the Galacticos were, they were leaking and he would come up trumps. Victor Valdez, was he one of them, or did he have a really good defense?
No, well, I think it was a combination of both. But I think Iker Casillas, along with Gianluigi Buffon, are above Valdez's level. I think
Buffon,
they're two.
obviously.
And
what's the name of the Colombian guy?
Manuel Neuer as well.
The Colombian guy.
Mentioned.
The Colombian guy. Are you talking about Valderrama?
There's the scorpion kick guy, Valderrama. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, larger than life personalities and those guys.
Okay.
And then the Brazilian keeper, Claudio Taffarel. Sorry, I'm showing my age here, but yeah.
It's okay. Klinton's not here. We need someone too.
Claudio Taffarel. And then latterly, in these 2000s, which other keeper can we think of?
Well, Alex mentioned Manuel Neuer.
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
I think we have to shout out Marc-Andre ter Stegen for what he did last season in La Liga. And I think it's only because that he plays with Manuel Neuer that he was so overshadowed at Germany. But there were times when I think Neuer was getting the start when in the club season ter Stegen was playing better. It was just like we talk about, experience. And there's a goal. Milan make it 4. Excuse me, guys. 4 goals for Milan, and they are throwing him up in the air. Okay, well, this is very interesting now because I think it's the youngster here who scored for Milan. God, keeping up over here is really hard. Gary, it's 4-1 in both games. You've nailed it here. It's the early kickoff. What did you say? Early kickoff bonanza?
Yeah, early kickoff bonanza.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Just some of those keepers that I think deserve a mention. I think Courtois goes without saying. I think Petr Cech should be in that conversation. He was fantastic with Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think there are so many
Peter
keepers. Peter Schmeichel, Edwin
sure.
van der Sar. Alisson even perhaps deserves a mention in these great keepers that we've had over the last decade or so. But I think perhaps, and this is more one for you, Gary, would you take him back at Arsenal? I think perhaps because of, his maybe late rise, his late rise to stardom. People.
Jens Lehmann?
Yeah, Jens Lehmann.
For sure.
I think people perhaps forget that, obviously goalkeepers, they have a longer career usually than an outfield player. So I think when you think of Emi Martinez's career, he didn't quite come to that stardom until later on in his career. And obviously he's still got time left, but perhaps that's why he's not mentioned in those other keepers, along with those other keepers in that conversation.
Just quickly, the Milan goal was taken back because it was offside, but it was Francesco Camarda who scored, and that's why they threw him up in the air, because this was the Milan Forturo, 16-year-old prodigy from the Rossoneri. So they were very excited for 16 years old. Guys, I don't know anymore. We're talking about Lamine Yamal every week.
Days?
Sorry?
What are they feeding them these days?
I don't know anymore, Gary, because it's getting crazy. There's 15-year-olds starting it's just... Wasn't there a 15-year-old that was called up for the Manchester United team this past week? Yeah, possibly. I think he was... I
mean, you get young players. This is the thing as well. Because players are getting injured, what chance there for Monaco? It was a lovely shot just going over the bar. But because players are playing so much football and there's so many injuries, these players are having to be forced into these starting lineups, and they're proving themselves. And it's really exciting to see. I would like it under other, different circumstances, but to be able to see these young players come through, and we talk about the likes of Kobbie Mainoo at Manchester United, Ethan Ranieri at Arsenal. There are some really exciting players coming through, and the future is bright for football.
I mean, it's very bright. I just when I think about it, and you just think, oh my God, this young Francisco just scored a Champions League goal, and it was taken back. And I was thinking, what the heck was I doing when I was 16? Not a lot is the answer. Not a whole lot. Really, really incredible stuff. All right. Well, unfortunately for Mr. Camarda, it was taken back 3-1 to Milan. Back to our keeper conversation. Okay. All that aside, in my opinion, I feel like there are two that are above the rest, and I've said them. It's Gigi and it's Casillas. I think you have you have your Courtois, you have your Neuers, you have your maybe even Dibu Martinez's, but I think those two, for me, are a level above. How do we feel?
I think, and perhaps it's because his latter stages of his career, he's made a few mistakes, and perhaps that's not tarnished, but maybe a sort of a mark against the rest of his career. But I do think Manuel Neuer deserves to be mentioned up there, those top three. I think he's been playing at the top level for so long. And I think Gianluigi Buffon at the top there, he was a stalwart for Juventus, obviously went to PSG as well. So, I think best goalkeeper of all time, it's a tough one really, but I think I would lean towards Gianluigi Buffon.
I think, it's tough. Gary, what do you think?
I was just looking for the video. There's a video of San Iker where he's asked, have you seen that video? I think it was done by BBC, where he's shown goalkeepers, and if they are good, he's asked to speak. They brought the best keepers of all time, and he stayed silent for all of them. The only one he even made a sign for, I think, was Gigi Buffon.
Yeah, Gigi was
and even then he paused and said no.
No.
Keepers were better than him, and he said no. So all the keepers were mentioned from. Think of them. I mean, keepers before him, during his era, and then keepers of this day and age. I was looking for that video right now, and that is how good he was, or how good he thinks he was, from Hugo Lloris to everybody, and he said nobody was better than he was. But I found it interesting that he paused, and later, in a separate interview somewhere else, he was asked about why he hesitated with Gigi Buffon, and he said, obviously, Gigi is Gigi, but he still said he was better than Gigi because he won more titles over the period.
I think that's fair. I think also when you have to take into account the team that Iker Casillas was playing with, perhaps also gets forgotten about, because when you're playing with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos was your defender in front of you. I think there are players that you kind of forget about the keeper in these great teams. So
When you said the players he played with, I thought you were going to name the Spanish national team.
I mean,
Because when I think of Casillas, I'm thinking about a Euro World Cup and a Euro where he was absolutely.
it is true.
Brilliant
I mean, Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, the list goes on.
No, I know,
Puyol.
but I also think the fact that Casillas won the back-to-back-to-back, like that's also very, very impressive for the keeper to be on that team, obviously. I'm just going to jump into some YouTube comments here because we have some people coming in saying Martinez is the best goalkeeper in the Champions League so far. 80 Samuel says, no one said Bonu. Of course, that's a good shout, actually. Julio Cesar, I'm not convinced.
Bono?
Yeah,
Did you say Bono? Like Sevilla Bono?
The Moroccan keeper.
Not the musician.
No.
Hell.
No,
Hell
Bono is,
no.
yeah, not on the level. He's a good keeper, but he's not on the level of, I think,
Very
some of
good
these guys
keeper,
we're talking
not on the
about.
level. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are agreeing that actually Street Fighter says Neuer is the best of all time. But then we see some Buffon comments. So, yeah, I don't know.
Gigi Buffon was asked as well, Sarah. And Buffon ranked only Casillas and Manuel Neuer as the two keepers better than him.
That's fair.
So that's it.
Those three seem to be the general consensus. I mean, I'll never forget Gigi Buffon in the 2006 World Cup against France. I mean, clinical. I know our producer
Monstrous.
Ben is our producer Ben is French, and he's like, why did you have to bring that up? Where are you? Won it in 2018, a couple of years later. Yeah. Really, some really good keepers here. All right, I think we've gone through. Have we gone through? No, we haven't gone through Sporting. Sporting is playing tonight as well. That's the one game we haven't talked about yet. Jeez, there's so much football. Sporting is playing Sturm Graz. Sporting, obviously, first in the Liga Portugal. Very, very strong. I think this is going to be a win for them. I can't see anything otherwise. I think Sporting are a team that know the Champions League very well, and they're playing well this season. I don't have much else to say. We kind of left, we're going from how exciting maybe some of these games are, but we're always surprised in the Champions League. But Alex, is there anything for Sturm Graz here that you think?
No, I mean, when you've got a man like Victor Gyökeres leading your line, it's hard to give Sturm Graz any chance, I think. Obviously, the man at the wheel, Ruben Amorim, tipped for some of the Premier League's top jobs in the summer, linked with Liverpool, linked with West Ham, seemingly went to West Ham and then didn't go to West Ham. But, yeah.
Got another, oh my God, Monaco. Monaco can't stop. This is becoming.
This is a rout.
Yeah, this is.
5-1.
This is the final moment of the match. It is 5-1, Gary. It's the 6th minute of added extra time, and they said, "Nah, we're gonna take one more here."
Full time at the San Siro as well. Milan winning 3-1 against
Oh,
Club Brugge.
yeah, it's just again from outside of the box here, but Club Brugge really just have fallen apart. There was nothing left in them. They were trailing back. They couldn't get on the counter. 5-1, Monaco, top of the Champions League table as it stands. We do have 6 more matches in about 17 minutes' time. But after today's show, we have Coventry taking on QPR in the Championship. Alex Ashmore's favorite league? Maybe not?
I mean, it's one of them. I'm a big fan. So, yeah, do stay tuned for that. I think when you look at the second leagues in the world, Championship is the highly competitive one. So, yeah, stay tuned for an exciting match. Also, some other games in the Championship this evening that play a big role in the table come the end of the season. And a small note on the teams that are looking to get promoted. Some teams we haven't seen in the Premier League for a while. Blackburn Rovers, West Brom, Sunderland could be getting back up there. A Sunderland-Newcastle game in the Premier League, we haven't seen that in a while. Burnley up there with Scott Parker leading the way. Leeds United trying to go up again. Sheffield United. So some really classic teams when it comes to, proper first division teams that we remember from back in the day. So, yeah, some exciting games in the Championship tonight.
Guys, I don't trust Scott Parker.
No?
He'll get them up. I mean,
No.
he won promotion with Bournemouth.
He will get them up, and then he gets there.
And then he leaves. That's what he does. He just goes and then light on fire.
I mean, if you're Burnley, that's what you want, really. I think you want to go back up. at the first time of asking. If you don't go back up at the first time of asking, the longer you stay in the Championship, the harder it gets. So to get back up, and then, you know, if Scott Parker does well, then he does well. But if you then have to appoint someone, maybe even Sean Dyche, could he return to Burnley if things don't go well at Everton? I'm sure Burnley fans would take that.
I don't think that's a bad choice.
I think that would be a welcome
I don't
return
think Scott Parker himself. I don't think Scott Parker himself will be averse to that. Like, if he qualifies and they chuck him and bring this in, I don't think he'll be averse.
Yeah, I head back and take someone else up to the Premier League.
Yeah, but speaking of Scott Parker, you know, they've always said that there are some managers who have become like experts in that, and I don't want this to be the show where we've already done like a best goalkeepers and a best thing already. I don't want us to do a best managers who know how to bring teams up in the Championship. Anyway, another time. But yeah, I can think of a few, but another time. Another time. Yeah, we've had enough for today.
We've had enough for today. Kwasi wrote in our chat here, if Man City sell Haaland to Barcelona, I'll take him, then Victor Gyökeres, how do you say his name?
Gyökeres.
Gyökeres. Swedish? Like, if I saw that, I'd never say it was Swedish. I'd be like Greek or Eastern European. But listen, hey, listen. Gyökeres must be the direct replacement for Man City if Haaland were to leave. What do you guys think? The pressure's on, hey?
I think he has been touted with a move to the Premier League. I think Liverpool were sniffing around him, Chelsea as well. Arsenal, yeah. I think, you know, I don't know about what your thoughts are on this, Gary, and I think I said this yesterday. That is perhaps the missing piece in the jigsaw. I think Havertz is a brilliant forward, but when you look at an out-and-out goal scorer, I think that is probably the one thing that Arsenal are missing. Yes, maybe another midfielder or another right midfielder to back up Saka, but when you look at Gabriel Jesus, doesn't exactly fill me with confidence, him coming off the bench. So I think that's probably the one thing that Arsenal do need, actually.
Yep, no kidding. No kidding. All right, well, we've pretty much wrapped up every single game. By the way, we had Klinton here. For some of you who have been with us from the beginning of the show, connection problems at the Santiago Bernabéu. It sounded like the Dortmund fans were getting too rowdy, and maybe they took Klinton with them. He was very impressed, though, Gary.
He's going to do our own character. He's going to end up in the Dortmund end.
You got a picture of him in the so-called yellow wall at the Bernabéu. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. He'd be like, give me a gin and tonic and we're ready. Yeah, Gary, Klinton was saying that the Dortmund fans were loud and proud, as we would have expected them. There were about 200 of them, but he said it sounded like 5,000 here in Madrid.
Wow. I mean, typical Dortmund fans, they know how to make a positive racket, and their reputation as good travelers precedes them as well. So they would have selected their loudest, wouldn't they? You know, to be able to. But 200 fans for a stadium that has how many?
There will be more.
Fair?
There'll be about 4,000 or 5,000 because Champions League states that you have to have 5% of your capacity for the Bernabéu. It's about 4,000. Stuttgart bought loads, so you know that whole section of the top of the Bernabéu will be full. There will be thousands of Dortmund fans there.
Listen, it'll help them tonight because they need that extra man, absolutely. Gary, can you give us a score prediction of Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, as well as some goal scorers, please?
Can you see that I am
Don Carlo.
Don Carlo. Look, this man, 3-2. I want goals. Yeah, I'm in the mood today.
Agent of Chaos. Every scoring for both sides, please.
Oh, wow. I mean, Mbappe to get one. Rodrigo. I've not seen the stats. Okay, the starting 11. They did have Rodrigo. This looks like a game where Rodrigo will slot in. And, yep, Rodrigo brace, actually. Rodrigo brace, Mbappe one, and then Dortmund, anybody.
Anybody who can score. Alex went for Guirassy.
Yeah, Guirassy for Dortmund, and Bellingham, Mbappe, and Lucas Vazquez, I think I went for Real Madrid. 3-1 win.
Maybe a little Julian Brandt action. Come on, it's the captain. He's going to carry this team. Who knows? No, we'll see. We'll see, of course. I think we're all going to be rushing home after this one to try and catch this game because I think it's going to be quite exciting. A reminder, guys, tomorrow that Klinton and Alex will be back here with Gary, as I will be at the Metropolitano as Atletico Madrid welcome Lille. Can Lille do it to both sides of the city is the big question. There's something inside of me that almost wants it to happen. Just so they have those bragging rights. We beat Atleti and we beat Real, and that's it. It doesn't matter if they win anything. Just to have that, I think, would be ridiculous. Also, the scenes at the Metropolitano.
Imagine after beating Atleti, they are going to have a chant in French, you know, to the effect that we are Lille. Nous sommes Lillois, whatever it is.
I love the attempt in French.
Oh, jeez, you're sounding like Klinton today, Gary.
We beat both Madrid's home and away. Yeah, whatever. I mean, a chant
we've just
like
had
that is
producer Ben in our ear, who's French, saying not too bad, to be fair. So well done, Gary.
Yeah, nous sommes Lillois.
I can't believe.
If you think about it, though, if they beat Atleti, they then got Juventus, a winnable game. Bologna, winnable game. Stuttgart, winnable game. Liverpool, tough. Feyenoord, winnable game. We could see Lille in this top 8 come the end of the Champions League group, table stage.
One step at a time.
Could,
Let's see what they do tomorrow, and then we'll talk Juve, because I don't think that'll be as easy either. I mean, the Italian teams, as we know, the way they defend, it's just something different. But it is really interesting to see. Like, as of right now, and this is just before kickoff for these 6 matches, the 8 that are going through, if it was just based on these games, are Monaco, Dortmund, Brest, Benfica, Leverkusen, Liverpool, Aston Villa, and Juventus. I don't see Manchester City. I don't see Barcelona. I don't see Real Madrid. Like, it is just...
No Bayern Munich, no Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the fact that Real Madrid is 17th sounds like, you know, something made up. In fact, Lille are still behind.
No Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
No PSG.
Never PSG.
No Leipzig. I'm to be honest, I think it was early days, but I'm a really big fan of this format. I think yes, we don't know what it's going to be like come the end of the 8 games where teams are already qualified and they're resting some players, but it's exciting so far.
Alexander Sorloth told me the same thing, and I was shocked to hear it. He said, you know what, I'm actually liking this new format. I find it very exciting. We get to play 2 extra games. He was excited about that the first time I heard a footballer saying they wanted to play more games, but he seemed really enthusiastic about it because, like we said, every game is a new game. So maybe they're onto something here. Let us see. But guys, that is it for us now. Again, tomorrow I'll be at the Metropolitano. Alex and Klinton and Gary will be here. Barcelona taking on Bayern Munich. It's revenge season, guys. All right.
Oh yeah, Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich. No music, Gary. No music. It's revenge. We're coming. All right, guys. Enjoy all the matches. Coventry and QPR coming up right after the show, so stay tuned for that. And until then, enjoy the football.
No airplane.
Messi,